All right, let's move on to a story on the front page of the Sunday Telegraph. Axe sickness benefits for foreigners, Tories urge. Many people watching and listening to this, Mel Stride, might wonder why on earth foreigners can claim disability benefits and why the Tories allowed that to happen, presumably for the last 14 years.
So what we're putting forward, Camilla, is an amendment to the welfare bill, such as it is, because it's been largely gutted by this government, but what remains of it, to basically say that the government should come forward with a discussion document to look at this whole area, because we do believe that British citizenship should mean something. And when it comes to welfare, we know that the costs are ever spiralling upwards, and we need to get that under control, and that's a big dividing line between ourselves and Labour, and indeed between ourselves and Reform, who want to spend more, for example, by removing the two-child benefit cap. So we believe there should be a serious discussion about this in terms of arresting the size of the welfare bill.
But why on earth did the Tories allow people who aren't UK citizens to claim benefits of up to £1,200 a month? Why on earth didn't you do something about it when you were actually in power?
So what we did do, and I was Secretary of State at Work and Pensions for the last 18 months of the last government, was to bring in some very fundamental reforms around the work capability assessment. That's the gateway into these long-term sickness and disability benefits. And the OBR actually scored those reforms as meaning £5 billion worth of savings and seeing 450,000 fewer people going on to those benefits and actually then instead heading in towards the world of work. And we had, just if I could finish, we had very detailed plans, particularly around personal independence payments that we'd already consulted on, and then the general election interrupted that process, and all of these kind of other issues which we would have brought forward had we been elected to make very substantial savings. In our manifesto we had a further £12 billion of savings per year. So that was the clear direction of travel, backed up by the fact that we'd actually proved that we could make very significant savings in welfare.
But you didn't ever say while in office that you should stop foreigners from claiming sickness benefits, did you?
So there is a moment in time at which all sorts of policies come forward. We are under new leadership under Kemi Badenoch. This is, I think, a very important area that we should be looking at. But, Camilla, that shouldn't detract from the very important things that, firstly, we did when we were in office to grip welfare, and secondly, the very clear plans, fully funded, fully costed plans
I know you did things
for going much further. And
I know you did things to grip welfare, and I think we should give Ian Duncan Smith credit for reducing that welfare bill by £31 billion. But let me ask you this, Mel Stride. How much would you reduce the welfare bill by now? Because Jeremy Hunt, of all people, is saying, let's shave £50 billion off it. How much would you shave off it? Give me a figure now.
Yeah, so we are going through a policy development process that will take some time. At the time of the next election, we will have absolutely clear proposals as to exactly what we're going to do. We don't know what the world's going to look like in 4 years' time. But what I am saying is that we have a track record of getting on top of welfare spending and making savings, and that was £5 billion when I was Secretary of State, and about 500,000 people, fewer people going on to those benefits as confirmed by the OBR, and we went into the last election with further savings of £12 billion a year. And yes, there is indeed more work and more thinking to be done on the issue of foreign nationals. We think it's important that British citizenship means something. We think it's important that we get on top of welfare bills around that particular issue, and our amendment is calling on the government to come forward with a discussion document so that we can go into that area of policy in greater detail, because we need to get on top of the welfare bill in a way that this government has basically given up on, and in a way that Reform is prepared to spend even more on welfare when you look at things like the two-child cap. And we don't think that's right. We think work matters, Camilla, more than just being on benefits. It's getting people into work that matters.
Work matters. We're both working on a Sunday morning, and I'm grateful as ever for your contribution, Mel Stride. Thank you very much indeed.